Good morning, Christina. Do you have that book, Lobs Coast Boulevard?
Yes, we have it. It's a very popular book. Do you want to have a look in it?
Well, there's a newlywed couple from New York.
Yes.
Probably from Brooklyn. It'd be nice. Do you know who they are?
That's Oddveig and Alf Andresen from Lista.
Oh, do they live here now?
Yes.
That would be nice to visit them.
Yes, that's a beautiful picture.
Out in Stave, Oddveig and Alf Andreasen lives in a beautiful split-level house. This autumn they have been married for 50 years. Oddveig came first to USA in 1953 and mainly worked as a bookkeeper in City Savings Bank. Alf came a few years later in July 1958 and mainly worked as a carpenter and a dock builder. They returned to Lista in 1966 because of their first boy should start to go to school.
And where did you live?
In Brooklyn. I came to all the Norwegians in Brooklyn.
Okay. And you visited Lobs Coast Boulevard?
Yes, I lived on right off Lobs Coast Boulevard.
When you went to America, was there anything that maybe your neighbors were wishing they could get that you got over there? And
Well, when you worked as a carpenter in New York, you don't have to work more than 1 year to get a car. And you couldn't do that in Norway.
what kind of car did you have?
I had a Chevy Impala, 1961.
1961 Chevy Impala. Nice big car to drive around.
Yes.
Did you meet each other in America, or did you know each other from before?
We didn't know each other. I met her in the church.
In 66th Street Church?
Yeah, the old one.
Okay. And that's where you wound up getting married?
That's right.
And you were married in the old 66th Street Church. That's gone now.
Yes, in the old 66th Street Church, yes.
And I think your picture of the wedding is in the Lobs Coast Boulevard book.
So I believe, yes.
Oh.
Actually, we didn't know about it until we saw it in the book, or somebody told us about it. But it was nice. That's my sister as well.
Du så ikke vel han bedre ut da?
Ja, det er flott ennå.
Well, you mentioned that we married in 66th Street Church. We had a very, very good time when we stayed there. We got lots and lots of friends. And we still, as a matter of fact, we still are together with the same people when we got married 50 years ago, almost. We see them quite often, and now we go to Florida in the winter time, and we are together with lots of friends from Brooklyn and from Norway, which we knew from 66. But when we came back to Norway, we went to Missionsforbundet, which is the same congregation as the First Evangelical Free Church. And we are members there, and we are enjoying it very much.
And you don't miss America anymore?
Well, we still go back, you know, but I like being in Norway. As a matter of fact, I love staying in Norway.
Ovenstave lives just a stone throw from where Oddveig and Alf Andreasen lives. I heard stories about Oven. You must speak with him. He's born in America and has served in the US forces. So I decided that we should have a talk with him. As an adult, he worked as a seaman on Norwegian merchant ships that mostly went to American ports. After 3 years, in 1951, he changed company and signed on American ships and became an American citizen. In 1953, Uncle Sam wanted him to serve his country. He retired as a seaman in 1979 and moved to Norway when he inherited 25 acres of land from his parents. Oven is a very good handyman and keeps in repair all that needs to be repaired and maintain his farm mostly alone. The agriculture tools may look old and rusty, but they are only well worn and works in order with his tractor. Owen is growing his own vegetables and fruit for his own use, and we met him while he was busy working with weeding potatoes. Well, he took a break, showed us around before he told us his story.
I was born in a Norwegian hospital on 4th Avenue in Brooklyn in the Depression time, and I raised in Norway when I was a year and a half old with my parents. And I grew up here, right on this farm here. And I was between 18 and 19 years old. I went to sea, and the ship I went on went right over to the United States. And I settled in Brooklyn, New York. In 1952, I was drafted to the U.S. Army when the Korean War was going on. So I am a Korean veteran. And I took the basic training in Camp Pickett, Virginia. And then the war went over, so I didn't come to Korea. I was lucky. I went in the infantry and served my time in the U.S. Army in Germany. And that was the best years in my young life. That was the time I was in the U.S. Army.
After the interview, we went right back to keep on working. Owen Stave is really a busy, hard-working man.
When the sun in the morning peeps over the hill and kisses the roses round my windowsill, then my heart fills with gladness when I hear the true of the birds in the treetops on Mockingbird Hill. Tra-la-la, twiddly-dee-dee.
Up in Bryneheia lives Martha and Asbjørn Frigstad in their beautiful self-built ranch house. They have a beautiful view over the Lista fields. They have lived for many years in America, so let's pay them a visit.
Okay, welcome to our house here in Bryneheia. We've been living here for a few years now. We built this house in 1967, and we came home from the States. Had been living there for a few years. We left Norway in 1954. Both of us. I didn't know her at the time, but I met her in Brooklyn, and somehow we met and got married, and we had a great time. And after a few years living in Brooklyn, we built a house up in Connecticut. And we had 2 sons. And in '63, we went for a trip to Norway. We hadn't been here since we left Norway. And everything was great here in Norway. And even the weather was better at the time than it had been when we left. So we decided we wanted to come home and build a house here in Norway. She didn't want to go, but I did. So we came home and we built this house here and been living here for 40 years now. Every so often we take a trip to the States. Just looking around, meet old friends. Well, when we came over in '54, life was different than it was in Norway, because in '54 there wasn't that much here in Norway. There was after the war, and then you couldn't buy, well, even buying sugar at a store, you had to have special marks to buy it. And cars, you couldn't buy a car. But over there, everything was so easy. We could buy everything, and the excitement around it, you know, getting a new car, and you could go out at night and we had a great time. Getting a job over there was nothing. All you had to do was join up the union, and we got a job right away as a carpenter. I worked as a carpenter in Long Island. I was fairly young at the time. I had to join up as an apprentice, and so I was that for 2 years. They sent me to school over there to learn the carpenter work, but I didn't understand that much English at the time, so they sent me to another school to learn English. During the weekends, you know, we had a great time. We used to go to the country. There was a place called Lake Telemark. That was there was a lot of Norwegian went up there. They had a dance hall up there, and they had a bar, and boy, we had a good time. Huh? And Bund Ungdomslaget had a cabin up there, so we used to go there. Then otherwise we used to go to Sunset, Norway in Brooklyn, Finnhall. Finnhall was a great place. There you could, they had a small diner in the basement there. You could get a hamburger or whatever, and then we could dance upstairs. We had a great time. And then, yeah, what did we do otherwise? We went to the movies quite often, yeah. It was always before, yeah. Well, James Dean was popular at the time. You know, that was back. Presley was coming along, so that was those days. Wow, we saw Presley the first time he was on television on Ed Sullivan's show, and they could only show him from the hip. They couldn't show him from the hip and down because he was doing too much wiggling around. You know, that was too sexy at the time. Now they show everything, but he was great. The kids loved him. The young kids loved him.
The old kids too.
And the old kids too, she says, yeah. It was the best years of my life. I would never done it different, you know. So we had a good time. A lot of friends over there, and so Brooklyn is different now than it was at that time. But that's how it is. Things changes. Look at the nice apples we have here. Yeah, now she can make American pie, apple pie, because that's what she does. My wife is in there making coffee, and we're going to have a cup of coffee here on the porch. We usually sit here in the morning when the sun is bright. We sit here and have coffee. That's one of the good things about being retired. You know, you can take it easy in the morning. You don't have to go to work. And here she comes with her coffee. That's good. That's a screen door she came out of there. But that thing we brought home from the States. Okay. Boy, she makes good coffee, this wife of mine. I was very lucky to get her. Thank you.